All right. Let me try that again. So, happy Monday. How is your Monday going? Happy Motivational Monday Healing Journey Reflections. And I think that Monday is going pretty good for me. I'm super excited. I've been working earlier today on the beginning of putting together a new exclusive cohort case study group that I'm going to be launching soon. So I am excited. Monday has been off to an exciting start for me. I'm going to be sharing details about that soon in the next week or so. And yes, so if you are new to me, then you probably know, or you probably don't know, rather, that when I do these lives, it's either based on something that recently I've been going through, or that someone has recently said to me, or shared with me, or asked me a question about, and that's, the inspiration for the topics. So tonight, I am just going to get right into it. And I wanted to talk about briefly 4 types of friends you need. Yes, this is actually based off of last night's experience that I personally went through. So I got a phone call. Well, actually, that's not true. I called my mom. She didn't call me. I called my mom. And so she gave me some news about my father that was kind of like a curveball. It like kind of came out of left field. And it doesn't matter what it is or what it was, but what does matter is it just kind of threw me off and my brain just kind of shut down a little bit because I was trying to process and understand exactly everything that she was telling me. I was like, this just does not make sense. Where's this coming from? So, what did I do? I had to reach out to a friend, right? I said, I need a friend that I can just vent to for like a little bit, and I need a friend who can like pray with me. So that made me think, today I woke up and I said, well, friends are really important. And I have done some other uh lives on friendships, but here's the thing. Sometimes when we have like a best friend or we have a friend who we're particularly close to, maybe we try to like make them a one stop shopping type of friendship experience. But honestly, that's a lot to put on anyone. And so we actually, to use maybe a financial term, we want to have a diversity of friendships. We want to diversify our friends. And I don't mean to make that sound like just a commodity. But when we look to someone as a friend for everything, like, to spend time with, for business advice, for prayer, for this support, for that support, it can become overwhelming to the friend. And actually, even this can be a problem in marriages or in dating relationships where you're looking to your romantic partner or your life partner for everything, right? Even your husband or your wife cannot be everything. No one can be everything to us. The only person, in my opinion and in my experience, who has the capacity to be everything for me or to be everything for someone is God, because he's just big enough to be able to handle it. But in terms of friends, everyone has different strengths and different reasons. We know people and they all have different purposes in our lives, just like we have different purposes in other people's lives. So there's 4 types of friends that I was thinking about this morning that I wanted to share with you that are really good to have, that you really want to have. And the first type of friend is an accountability friend. That friend, it could be someone who's older than you. It could be someone who's younger than you, but for some area that you are not so strong in, they have a lot more experience. So it could be someone who has, maybe had a long marriage. They had like a long, happy, successful marriage where they were happily married. Maybe that type of friend would be your accountability person, that you would go to, in terms of like relationship advice, or, they would say, well, did you do something nice for your partner? Like, did they, just different things that they would say, or maybe it could be business, right? And they would say to you, well, I know you were getting ready to start and launch a new product. How's that going for you? And because they're accountability, they can also give you some wisdom. They can give you some of their expertise, some of their tips. um but you want it to be reciprocal in a way. When someone is giving to you, giving of their time to you, it's not just where you're taking. Now, some relationships are not like equal in the sense where like they give you tips and you may not be able to give them. Say it's like in a business or a relationship, right? You don't have that experience, so you can't really give that back to them, but you can give them your kindness. You can give them your respect. You can say thank you. You can give them your gratitude, right? So these are things where even if you can't, return the same type of accountability or the same type of support that they're giving you, you're still giving them something back, you know? You're still supporting them in some sort of way that emotionally, encourages them and makes them also want to continue to help you, be accountable for the things that you are trying to get in life. But you also have to know, if you're gonna have an accountability friend, you kind of have to know what it is you want, right? So I actually just made a post about this on my Instagram page, Babs Photography LLC, which was success. We can choose the type of success and how much success we're going to experience in life. But we have to know what we want. If we don't know what we want professionally or personally, it's kind of hard to know what you're aiming for. Like, what are you trying to aim for? What do you want? Do you want a happy 50-year long marriage? Do you want $1 million business? Do you maybe not want a business? Maybe you like your job. Do you want to get a promotion at work? Do you want to network and meet new people? What are those things that you want, right? You have to know what you want. And if you don't know what you want, it's kind of hard for anyone to help you get to what you want. It's very hard for you to get there. For me and my success, I had to decide that I wanted to forgive, right? I had to make a decision, a conscious decision, to make emotional changes, make I almost would say psychological changes in my life in order to be able to open myself up for other successes. If I wanted a successful business, right? My business as a photographer involves me working with people. My coaching business has come out of me choosing to forgive and that process that I went through and how I have done that, right? So I had to know that I wanted to forgive. Well, to be honest, I didn't really want to, but I knew that I wanted certain other things. I knew that I wanted joy. I knew I wanted love. I knew I wanted peace. I knew I wanted to be able to continue working with others, because if I am in a dark place, who's going to want to work with me? Who's going to want me around? So in order to get what I wanted and have relationships, even on a business level, I had to make choices and changes in my personal life. I had to choose something different. I had to know what I wanted. And then I had to build from there and make choices from there. And who was going to hold me accountable to forgive, right? Now I do have a couple people who would be like, Beth, your attitude stinky. Like, people who would check me, who would tell me about myself, who would tell me, you're doing it again. You're going down that route again, right? So I had people who were holding me accountable. So that's the first type of friend you want, an accountability friend. The second type of friend is an encouragement friend, right? And sometimes that encouragement is not so serious, right? Sometimes we take ourselves too seriously, we take life too seriously. And sometimes that encouragement, maybe I should have said also that fun friend, but sometimes that encouragement has to do with us going out and having fun, with having a friend that we can laugh with, who we can be silly with. It doesn't matter if we're just, acting a little stupid. Um, so because what happens when we are having fun, when we're laughing, what's that do? Naturally, we become more creative because we're laughing, we're talking, we're goofing around, and sometimes we just get ideas, right? Think about kids. Kids are really amazing to watch. And what do? They play with each other, they laugh with each other, and they're creative. They've always got a great idea. Now, does the idea always work? Sometimes yes, sometimes it needs some revising, right? But it is, you know, fun, and it helps us get creative and just kind of like break out of like the rut that we might be stuck in. Uh, Also, when we have a friend who gives us encouragement, right? There's like that connection you're building. You're feeling that support. We are meant as humans to not be isolated. We are not meant to be apart from one another. We are meant to be together. We are meant to exchange ideas. We're meant this is how we've been able to survive on planet Earth for thousands of years, right? If you go back and if you like history and you study like early civilizations, even hunter and gather civilizations, right? Well, I don't know if I would say they were a civilization, but I think I used the wrong historical term. But hunters and gatherers, right? They worked in community. They had different jobs, but they took those different jobs and they all came together to have some success, right? So some people were literally hunting the food. Some people were gathering the food. Some people were taking what was being brought back from the hunt to either cook it, prepare it, store it, to turn the animal skin into the clothing. Other people who would go out and like harvest like the berries or the leaves, the vegetation part, might someone else might turn it into like a medicine, right? So it was like all community. They would tell stories to one another, cave drawings. They did all sorts of things together in community. That's how they survived. That's how they made it. Our humanity is literally built on us being together. So this is why we still need it. Like we are still, even going back even further than caveman days, right? Adam and Eve. God was like, okay, he's doing good. He's got me. I'm definitely his friend, but he's got a lot on his plate with, naming these animals and keeping all this garden in order. He needs to help me, right? He needs to help me. He literally created, because none of the animals were suitable for Adam as a partner, as a life partner. He literally put Adam to sleep, took a rib out of him, and made him a helper, right? So the initial person, the first person, needed help. And then there was community in that, right? Where they were all together, the three of them in the garden. God, Adam, Eve, right? It was all meant to be community and all meant to be encouragement, right? Adam probably needed someone to pat him on the back and say, "Great job. I would have never thought to name a giraffe, but that was real cool of you to come up with that," right? And then you've got the energy to like keep going. And so that is those connections that helps us, that when we have a friend who we can connect with that encourages us, helps us to keep going. Because then there is that time where we do have to be also by ourselves, because we all have our individual purposes, the work that we ourselves have to do, and it can get exhausting. And if we don't have those breaks, if we don't have that rest and that time with friends, with family, then we're just always going, we get burned out, and it's not fun. What's the point if we're not also enjoying and being encouraged? And again, of course, you don't want to be just that person who sucks all the energy and encouragement out of someone. You want to give that encouragement back to people and pour that back in. So what you're receiving is also meant for you to give back out to others, in the same way of cheering people on, giving someone a high five, giving someone a hug, saying, "Good job. I'm proud of you." Even when someone makes a mistake, you know what? You really messed that up, but I'm still proud of you because you tried it. You made a go of it. I'm proud of you. And that will give someone the courage and the encouragement to try again, right? Because a lot of times we do things and we fail and we have to go back and try it again, but we need that encouragement, that fun, that enjoyment to get refreshed in order to go back and either scrap the whole thing or revise it and just keep going, keep leveling up, right? But it's kind of hard to level up when you're just leveling, and you've got no one cheering you on. Like, you're going to just start pouring from an empty glass very soon. Then the third type of friend you need is the prayer friend. This is what I had last night. I reached out to a friend of mine and I called her up and I said, "Girl, I have a story. I don't understand this. I am totally bewildered. Like, the news I just got, totally left field. Like, I don't get it. Like, I do not get it." And this was not really good news either. At least not good news to my ears. So she prayed with me, right? And I needed that, because at that point, it came out of left field so much. My mind kind of shut down, and I was really putting all my energy into trying to process what I had been told, into processing what I'd heard my mom tell me. And I was just, my energy was in trying to make sense of something I couldn't make sense out of. So I needed someone who could just kind of like look at it a little less emotionally, a little bit more objectively, and just pray with me. So as we prayed, and she laid out the points that she knew were bothering me, that were a concern to me in prayer, my thoughts started to get organized as well, right? And so it helped me. I know it helped the person, because today things are much better and order is starting to come back into place. So not only is there that power of prayer, and that it can settle things down in the physical realm, but it can also, just for us, settle us down emotionally and get our thoughts to start to get back into order. Also, when something goes well, you have a friend, you pray with them, and then maybe it's just something small, or maybe it's something really big and exciting, but you can follow up with them and be like, "Hey, guess what?" And so then you also have someone to celebrate the wins with, the small wins and the big wins. And that's nice, right? Who wants to celebrate by themselves? You want to have someone you can celebrate with. So a prayer friend is number 3. And number 4 is the wise friend, or the wisdom friend, the friend who has like a point of view and that's going to help you level up. And in this case, I said, I don't even know what to say about this. This could be, again, it's age is not important. I did, when I was growing up, I had a next door neighbor. I was friends with her and she was older. She was like a grandmother figure. But we were really friends and she always gave me such good advice. So, it's always good to just have that wise friend. And here is why we just have to be really careful who we bring into our lives, because we want the right kind of wisdom and we don't want, listen, society is going to be up and down. It's going to change. And if we're going on what the culture says, what politics say, what just like a subgroup in culture says, even, or society says, if we're just going by that, I'll be honest, even churches, it depends on the church, how it's set up. We can't even just always go by what a church says, because there are churches out here that are not, they're leading people in like really bizarre directions. And then there's churches that are leading people in really good directions. But here's the thing, this is why we have to be really wise, and we want someone. I am a Christian confidence coach, so I'm not going to tell you anything except that you want that person who's a wise friend. And no one's perfect, right? No one is perfect. I'm not perfect. I can make mistakes. Everyone can make mistakes. But you want someone who really is doing their best to follow what God is teaching. And I'm not talking about legalism. I'm not saying like that. But here's why. It says, walk with the wise and become wise, associate with fools and get in trouble. That's Proverbs 13, verse 20. It says, how blessed, this is, have these written on notes. That's what I'm reading. I'm reading my notes. How blessed is the man who does not walk in counsel of the wicked, nor stand in the path of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scoffers. Wait. So if I am staying away from people who are doing wicked things, now what's wicked? Well, anything that would be opposite. Here's one way you can kind of find out and feel out if someone is going to be in a wise friend or like a wicked friend. People are known by what they produce. So not so much their words. Words are fine, but what are their actions? What's their life look like? And the fruits of God are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, understanding. If this person is overall in general, being patient and kind, if this person is like a peacemaker, or are they stirring up problems? Like wherever they go, there's like a problem, there's drama. Are they kind? Are they respectful to you, to others? These are the types of things that would let you know that that person is going to be wise. And guess what? Just by staying away from people who are the opposite of that, it says, how blessed is the man. Now, this is like a general, like, think of it as human. So how blessed is the human? Okay. So that would be the man or the woman who you're friends with, right? You're blessed when you're not walking in the counsel of the wicked, and things that like, so what would be wicked? Wicked would be like what the enemy, what Satan produces. What are things that he produces? fear, anything destructive. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Things that are killing your dreams, killing your like spirit, killing your energy, destroying anything that would steal. Like, I mean, there's obviously like the literal, stealing, but also things that could be stolen would be your peace, your safety. Are you physically safe? Are you emotionally safe with people? If you're around people and people are not at peace and there's fear, you're walking with wicked people, right? Because those would be like the fruits of someone who is not good. I guess that's how, I don't know how else to put it. Voting is tomorrow. So I'm just going to say this. I saw this. And so Proverbs 11, verse 14 says, without wise leadership, a nation is in trouble, but with good counselors, there is safety. Wise leadership. So wise leadership, again, similar to friendship. What are the fruits of these people? Are there fruits? Are there actions? Are there behaviors in love, in peace, in joy, in kindness, in respect? Are these things that would come from God? Or are these people liars, stealing, killing, destroying peace, bringing in fear? That's what I'm going to say. So, our nation is in trouble. However, God is in control. Oh, hey, boo. Yes, our nation is in serious, serious, serious trouble. And if we don't get wise leadership, we're going to get into even more trouble. But when we have good counselors, there is safety. So we're not looking, when you're looking at things, remember what I said for friends, and it would be the same as this. You're not looking at what society says. You're not looking at like a political position. You're looking at what God, how does this align with God? What is this person's character? Listen, if someone is cheating on their wife or cheating on their taxes or cheating on whatever, guess what? That's not someone who has the fruit of a godly leader, of a wise leader. If someone is advocating and pushing things that are leading people to get freaked out and be afraid, that person is not wise. We are not. What does God give us? God gives us a spirit of love and of sound mind and of peace. That's what God gives us. If our leaders are not somehow giving us feelings of peace, they're not leading us into that direction of peace, of love, of sound mind, of logic, things that make sense. There's a lot of things that have not made a lot of sense, right? Things just don't make sense. If you look around, you're like, what is all of this? And it has to make sense. God is a God of order. So our leaders have to be leaders who have order. And does this order make sense? Is this order an order that's going to be respectful, that's going to lead people in love, that's going to lead people into peace with one another? Or is it going to be divisive? Is it going to be, what is it? Because the enemy, right? Satan, he divide and conquer. Imagine what would happen if people of different racial backgrounds or different religions even came together and were unified. What in the world would that look like? It sure would look a whole lot different than the mess we're looking at right now, right? God is a God, my belief, the one true God, he is a God of order. He's a God of peace. He's a God of unity. He does not divide people. And you read the New Testament and it talks about the power of unity, right? Even to create the the universe, right? God had to put things in order. He hung the stars in order. He said, there is a place for that star. I don't know the names of all the stars in the sky, but he does. And he put each one in a place. That is like how precise he was. There's like things, if the earth was just a little different, a little this, a little that, like just like something that we would say, oh, is like not a big deal. But if it was just like a hair, less than a hair width off, the whole thing would go into chaos. So in order, I mean, it's what it says in Proverbs 11:14. For there to be safety for us in our nation, we have to have wise leadership. And if we don't, we're in trouble. So voting's tomorrow. That's it. I'm a registered independent. I'm just going to say that. I don't even have any political affiliations. I choose based on, God. I don't choose on what society does. I do my best to try to discern, and that's that. All right, here's the last thing. Open criticism is better than hidden love. So a wise friend is going to tell you when you're wrong, and they're going to also tell you, you know what, that's true, you're right. So people are going to, yes, God is a good God. So yes, people who are truly your friends, who are truly, I don't know, my phone is going off. I'm trying to find it to silence it. People who are truly your friends, people who are truly wise are going to sometimes criticize you. But it's going to be not done harshly. It's going to be done in love. It's not going to be done to put you down. And it may sometimes be hard to take, like a hard pill to swallow, but you'll know that they're doing it because they love you, not because they're laughing at you, not because they want to see you fail, but they're trying to give you a different perspective. I, for example, did not always have a real good perspective about forgiveness, right? I just didn't. And then I had a friend who told me, you need to speak. And I told her, I am not speaking. I am not telling my story. I'm not sharing that. And here I am. I was mad at her that day when she said, and I said, I'm not doing it. I'm never doing it. Never say never. As soon as you say never, you're going to find yourself doing it. So that wise friend is not always going to have you feeling comfortable. And I think sometimes we're quick to cancel people or quick to write someone off and be like, oh, I'm not comfortable in this conversation. This conversation is making me uncomfortable. But sometimes that's how actually, to be honest, it's the only way we can level up, is because at this one level, we start getting uncomfortable and it's just not a good fit for us. And the only way to do it is to get a little bit more uncomfortable and like push up to the next level, right? And so we'll have like someone who has a different point of view from us who will, push us and encourage us to do that. So yes, you could find all of these things in one person, of course. But at the same time, you never want to overburden your friends. You never want to put so much onto that friend that they just don't have time for themselves or time for their other friends or whatever it is. So it is good to have different friends. We don't need a lot of friends. We don't need 1,000 friends, but a couple good friends, it's really priceless, I think. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit because, our friendships are important for our healing. They can help us along the way, and no, our friends are not responsible for our healing. And it's not like they're actually doing the healing for us, but they're helping us to get where we need to go because they're praying with us. They're praying through things with us. They're encouraging us. They're holding us accountable, and they're giving us, a different point of view in a wise way. And then, of course, you always want to give what you're receiving back in some form or fashion, right? Even if you can't repay exactly, you can always repay your friends with your respect, your gratitude, your kindness, your time when they need you to listen to them. Sometimes people just need to be listened to. They're not even looking to you to solve a problem. They're not looking for you to fix anything. They just need someone to listen, and you can return, their kindness to you back to them by even just listening to them. So you always want to make sure that as much as you're receiving, you're also giving. Because you don't want to be that friend who's just like, take, give me, give me, give me. Right? It is like this back and forth. It's kind of like a flow. So there should be some sort of flow, some sort of circulation in your friendships in order for them to stay healthy. Right? We have to breathe. We breathe in, we breathe out. Same thing with our friendships. We kind of want our friendships to be breathable. Yeah, I just made that up. It just kind of came to me. So, yes. All right. So, that is it. That's what I wanted to share this Monday evening with you all. And have a wonderful rest of your week ahead. And yes, tomorrow is voting day. So, let's go and make sure that we get some wise leaders because we sure need it. All right. So, have a good night. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It says Facebook user. I have no idea who you are, but you're welcome. And yes, have a good night. And I'll see you next Monday evening, Lord willing. All right. Peace.